It's a pleasure to be here, and AI certainly has a lot of interest, as we can see from a overflowing room. So I had a friend actually talk to me at lunch, and he said, I wanted to attend, but it was sold out. So I'm glad you made it here. And so I'm here to talk about the future of AI in the enterprise specifically. And we're now part of an enterprise middleware company. And as Manju mentioned, we were really excited to be part of the SAP Startup Focus program a few years ago. And now we actually see kind of the benefits, the maturity of AI and predictive analytics applications coming to the market. So it is already becoming mainstream. And once we get the presentation started, then we can continue. It's interesting to see that Manju actually mentioned kind of the dark sides of it, job losses. At the same time, data science was hailed kind of the sexiest job in the 21st century. And when I was studying physics, I really didn't imagine getting to a job in data science eventually and becoming a sexy person as a physicist, because that never really happens. And when I start my presentation, I actually wanted to come back with a little bit of a controversial starting point, and hopefully, pick up on the job loss projections that we saw from Manju earlier. No, okay. Technical difficulties. So maybe I'll start with actually a little vote here. Who is worried about the future in AI? Anybody? A few people. Like worried, really, really worried, or about the job loss, or maybe what it can do for us in the future. Think about autonomous vehicles. It can be autonomous cars, but it could also be a drone, right? So the famous physicist Stephen Hawking actually started a couple of years ago the discussion about AI, saying that AI, oh, here we go, wonderful. AI could spell the end of humankind. So a little bit worse than job losses, I think. Job losses is probably not what he meant. But I think at the time we all already saw articles coming out on New York Times saying that, well, we can relax. The Terminator is still far, far away, and I think I agree with that. Although I think if one of our brightest minds in our generation says something like that, makes a statement like that, we should probably pay a little attention. But with that, I actually wanted to say that the future in AI, in enterprise AI, is already here. Because if you look at the top companies that are investing in AI today by industry, everybody is there. Every brand name that you probably ever heard about is here. Different industries, not just software and internet, not that kind of the classical Silicon Valley companies, but financial services, manufacturing, automotive, industrial automation. Everybody is investing in it. Healthcare, another, I think, very, very interesting market for AI to be applied to. Telecommunications, retail, user experience. So why is everybody already investing in AI? And I think the simple reason is that AI can help you unlock the value in enterprise data. Applying that to generate value is, I think, the ultimate application of AI. So if data is the new oil, then machine learning is actually the refinery. And I call it often machine learning because AI, I think, has a little bit of a hype to it. And as a physicist, I think I prefer to look at the actual algorithms behind it. So machine learning, predictive analytics, data mining, gets to the heart of AI, not just the mainstream media AI. So AI is actually undergoing a dramatic resurgence. If you've been around the research area of AI and data science, you've seen this come and go a few times. But right now, we see it actually enable smarter data-driven decisions in virtually any industry. So we see AI becoming a core capability for all enterprise applications. Think of it as part of your middleware stack. And I think that's really where we see the future of AI, the future of machine learning and applications. But to deliver its full potential, what we need is actual operational deployment, integration, and execution of those algorithms. Data science, the science aspect of it is great. It's very fascinating. But in order to be successful in the enterprise, what we need is the operational deployment. And if you think about AI, as I mentioned, it has been around a few times. It has come and gone. It's faded away because it didn't really meet its expectations. So why do I think it's different this time around? And it's very simple. We have more choices of everything. We have more types of models that we know to apply these days. Statistical models, machine learning models, simple to very, very complex models. Deep learning is one of the topics that's been very much capturing the imagination of AI and machine learning. It's in image processing, image recognition. It's really knocked down pretty much every record that we've ever seen. So more complex models are becoming mainstream. So if you think about the left-hand side as data science, the data science side of the equation, the right-hand side is the enterprise, the IT environment. And we have more and more platforms that deliver more memory, more compute power. Think about GPU processing, cloud-based processing that drive down cost, give you more capabilities to actually compute more and more complex algorithms. But what's really fueling it is data, more diverse data. Not just your CRM system, but also video, audio. In IoT, maybe vibration sensors, sensor data from virtually any device in the world that you can collect it from. So you have more data, you have more algorithms that we've known actually for 20, 30 years, but now we can apply them. So more frequent updates through the data that we collect, more effective deployment, and that makes it feasible to actually apply predictive analytics and AI in the enterprise. And that's really what has changed and what is different this time around, that it becomes mainstream. Manju mentioned we were acquired in December, and we were a startup for a very long time. And I blame it on being a physicist, because 10 years ago when we started, I thought this would be easy. Predictive analytics, operational deployment of AI kind of models is what everybody needs. But it took literally a decade to become mainstream. And it's fueled by big data initially, IoT, collecting even more data from sensors. Now we can apply it with cheaper compute power. And now we're becoming mainstream. So the future for the enterprise AI is actually here. And if you think about some of the use cases that are already in practice today, IoT, Industry 4.0, if it's how it's called in Europe often, predictive maintenance and quality control is already becoming mainstream as an application. So if you're collecting sensor data, if you have devices out in the field, this will really, really help you to improve your operational processes. In the financial industry, credit card fraud detection, real-time fraud detection was probably the poster child, the first ever commercial success of a neural network. And that started in the 90s. And now we see it really being applied everywhere. Customer analytics, if you think about user experience in what do you get recommended, cross-sell, upsell offers, marketing, campaign optimizations, probably a little less critical than making credit decisions or predicting a failure of a critical device. But again, the same fundamental algorithm. So we need to be able to apply that, coming from the data on the left-hand side to the right-hand side to make it an actionable application. We need to be able to apply that as effective and as quickly as possible. So again, the enterprise is kind of the top line here on the slide, the apply part. The develop part, the data science part, is something that we still need to be able to do. We still need to find the right algorithm, develop the right model, but it's almost an offline process that without the actual application, you won't be able to succeed in an enterprise environment. So think about less about the science, think more about the operational IT side of predictive analytics and machine learning. Now, if I can give you kind of a little bit of a recipe of how to be successful in applying AI in the future, I would say, decouple the data science aspect from your IT environment. Look at developing models with the maximum flexibility of tool sets, being able to select whatever tool is the most appropriate to build AI kind of models. Open source algorithms like R, TensorFlow for deep learning, or commercial applications like IBM's SPSS or SAS. It shouldn't matter how you build your model. In the enterprise, you'll be successful if you are able to quickly deploy those models. If you haven't heard about an open standard there called PMML, the Predictive Model Markup Language, take a look at that. That's an application, a standard to apply models, to change models, exchange models between different tools and different vendors. Once you have deployed models, then the idea becomes to integrate them wherever your business process needs a smarter decision. In AI, I think we will be successful automating decisions rather than looking at more dashboards or more reports. What we really need with more data is more automated decisions. So integrating that with a microservices architecture, for example, or web services in any part of your business process, you'll have more intelligent decisions at the micro level almost, so to speak, that will make your business process more effective and more intelligent. And then scale it up. How do you utilize those models? Being able to run those on different platforms no matter where they came from, thinking about AI as the business asset. The predictive model is the business asset of the organization. So you can actually deliver mission-critical results 24/7 in high velocity with hundreds of thousands of users or millions of devices. So if you think about your IT platform as being ready to apply predictive models, that will give you, I think, an important leg up in the future of AI. So I started out with a quote from one famous physicist, a little bit of a dark quote. So let me allow me to close the presentation with another quote from yet another very famous physicist. So Albert Einstein once said, "Information is not knowledge." And so turning data into knowledge, AI is really the perfect tool for that. AI, data science, machine learning really takes your enterprise data and turns it into more automated, intelligent decision, into more knowledge, into things that we don't have to worry about because we can then focus on the most important decisions in the business, more strategic decisions, rather than the micro decisions that we can fully automate it. So with that, I think the future is already here. The future of AI in the enterprise is actually very, very, very bright. And I hope you agree with that. And I think looking at the overflowing room today, the interest in AI is really what drives it forward. So I believe, while we'll be seeing some job losses potentially, I think we also will see tremendous new business opportunities, new business models that will be driven purely by the application of AI and predictive models. So with that, thank you very much for your attention. And I hope you will enjoy the rest of the afternoon. We have a very exciting program here. Interesting speakers, panel discussions, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing some of the other applications, healthcare, IoT, automotive. We have the experts here, so exciting times. Thank you very much.